So today's topic, I want to go over how do you pace a sub 3:30 marathon. Now, I did create a course called the sub 3 hour 30-minute marathon bootcamp course on RunDreamAchieve.com. If this is a goal that you're aiming for, it is 8 minutes per mile for 26.2 miles, or you need to sustain 4:58 per kilometer for 42.2 kilometers. Now, I always talk about the importance of making sure that you don't go out too fast. You save that energy for the last 13.1 kilometers, and especially in the last 10 kilometers of your marathon race. One of the biggest mistakes marathoners make is we get way too hyped up in the first half of the race. Again, this is 26.2 miles, 42.2 kilometers. You have more time to make a mistake in the marathon, which is good compared to if you're running a 5K or a 10K. You don't want to go out way too aggressive in the first half of a marathon and then be forced to blow up in the latter stages of the race. So breaking 3:30 is about strategy. It's about being smart with your energy consumption in the race. Again, when we're running aerobically, we're not building up so much lactic acid that it's forcing us to slow down, because again, if we're running aerobically, much less oxygen is required. The faster we run, the more oxygen is required, the more lactic acid that's built up, and the faster we run, the more lactic acid accumulation occurs, and it goes up, and we can't clear it faster than it's building up. That is the problem. And if you're running too much of your weekly mileage too easily, you're not going to break the 3 hour and 30-minute marathon barrier. So you want to teach the body to improve its lactate tolerance. The only way to do that is to look at what the best middle to long distance runners are doing. Okay, that's what I did in my own career. It's what helped me go from a 2:43 marathon to a 2:19 marathon and breaking the 2 hour and 20-minute marathon barrier. Okay, it's a massive jump to go from 6:14 mile pace to 5:19 mile pace, but I'm proof, and there's plenty of other athletes around the world that have run much faster than I did, that you can drop significant time off of your personal best. If your current personal best right now is 4:30 for the marathon and you're dreaming about breaking a sub 3:30 marathon, do not believe it's impossible. It is possible. There's plenty of examples out there of athletes dropping an hour off their marathon, or dropping 20 minutes or 30 minutes off their marathon PR. The 3:30 marathon, you have to focus on a lot of different angles. Okay, you want to make sure that you are dropping water bottles out during your long runs, so that again you get in the habit of drinking in training, so that you get into the race and you focus on consuming enough fluid in your race that you don't become dehydrated, and you definitely don't want to become dehydrated when it's too late. Okay, this is a big mistake a lot of athletes that are definitely capable of breaking the 3:30 marathon barrier have. They try to run a marathon with just sipping in the race, or thinking they can run a marathon without taking in any fluid. Do not make that mistake, because you can be the most well-trained athlete, both physically and mentally, and ruin your chances of breaking the 3:30 marathon if you neglect this, and if you do not drink and practice drinking in training. Okay, you do not want to get in the habit of running slow and easy every single weekend. Okay, if you're new to the channel, if you're a regular viewer, you already know that I'm a big believer in varied pace long runs, sprinkling in a mixture of anaerobic VO2 max efforts. So that might mean running an all-out mile a couple times throughout your long run. It might mean doing an all-out mile, running a few miles easy, running 5 or 6 miles, or around 8 to 10 kilometers or so at your anaerobic threshold, running easy for a few miles or kilometers, running an all-out mile or an all-out kilometer, a couple kilometers in the long run. Again, doing that teaches the body to utilize what it has much more of, which is fat storage. You want to teach the body to, when you're running at race pace or near race pace, to call upon what it has much more of, and that's the fat storage. Okay, if you're running long, slow, easy mileage every single day, you're still burning fat, but running at faster paces and burning fat to be able to call upon carbohydrate storage and to conserve that for the last 10 kilometers of this race. That is what it's going to that's what's going to definitely get you results as well. Mental rehearsal is key as well. A lot of athletes that are trying to break the 3:30 marathon bypass this altogether. Okay, we focus so much of our attention on physical training, doing our repetitions, doing tempo runs, other types of workouts, that we a lot of times do not pay attention to the importance of mental training. Now remember, a sub 3-hour marathon is 8 minutes per mile for 26.2 miles, or 4:58 per kilometer, or 4:59 per kilometer, around that range. So in order to do that, you have to train the body as well as the mind. The types of workouts I would recommend for athletes trying to break the 3:30 marathon, and I definitely go in depth in the course, is repeat 1,600 meter reps on the track, 5 to 6 1,600 meter reps, 3 to 4 3,200 meter reps. If you're doing those repeat 1,600s, you want to work on running those around 650 to 655 when you're in great shape. When you're first starting off, you might be doing them just below threshold effort, which that's going to be right around 715 to 720 per rep. Doing 800s at threshold effort, which again, when you're not very fit, it's going to be around 340 to 344. And when you're extremely fit, it's going to be around 315 to 317 per rep. And remember, the reps are going to be slower in the early stages because, again, you're not in great anaerobic shape. So let your body adapt first. It's going to take 3 to 4 weeks for the body to adapt to the stresses you're placing on it. So start off slower with more rest. And as you get fitter, you want to make sure that the paces are much more aggressive, and you want to make sure that you're giving yourself much less rest. So that might mean in the early stages for doing repeat 1,600s, for somebody that's trying to break a 3:30 marathon, again, it might be doing reps at around 715 to 720 with a 3-minute recovery. But when you're very, very fit, that might be doing reps around 640 to 645 per rep, but with only 45 seconds to 90 seconds rest. Okay, the same with the 800s. Starting off, it might just mean just starting off at threshold effort, just running just below threshold effort, so right around 335 to 338 with maybe a 2-minute rest. And then when you're extremely fit and you're midway through a buildup and you really start working on your speed development, that might mean working on doing those 800s around 317 to 319 per rep, but only with like 45 seconds to 60 seconds rest in between each one of those reps. So again, the overall focus here is to improve the body's lactate tolerance, teach the body to clear lactic acid faster than it's building up. And again, easy running is still critical. It's vital to still run slow throughout your week. But again, if you're running too much slow mileage, and 90% of your weekly mileage is run at an easy aerobic effort, and only 10% is spent training at very aggressive VO2 max efforts, it's going to be hard to break the 3:30 marathon barrier, because again, this is a highly competitive time. You're really getting closer to the elite level, especially when you break 3 hours. But a lot of athletes are capable of breaking the 3:30 marathon barrier. But again, it comes back to a lot of factors. Weather is key. Preferably if you can get a cool day with light wind, that's great. Making sure that you're picking the right type of course to run this type of fast time on, which, Chicago, Berlin, London, Monumental Indianapolis Marathon in Indianapolis is a great one. Any of the Tokyo flat courses, Rotterdam, Paris, Amsterdam, these types of courses will yield you a higher chance of running under the 3-hour marathon barrier, provided you have done your homework and training. Okay, no course is fast unless the athlete is prepared well. Okay, so just keep these types of workouts in mind. Ladder drills are also very important. Okay, so that might mean, I did ladder drills over the years, even training for my own marathons. It might mean doing 4 1,600 meter reps, 3 1,000 meter reps, 2 800 meter reps, and maybe like 4 400 meter reps. Okay, and then or doing sets. It might mean doing a 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, giving yourself maybe a 5-minute recovery, and then doing another set of that. Okay, very, very hard, a lot of volume there. But again, you want to be thinking about these types of workouts as you're training for your marathon. And what's great about the courses I created, as well as the training plans, they give you a step-by-step idea of what you need to be doing on a daily basis in aiming for this 3:30 marathon barrier. The running courses that I have on RunDreamAchieve are much more in-depth than the training plans, because I actually teach you in video tutorials the exact mindset and the exact strategies you need to be really following in order to break your specific time goals. So definitely check out RunDreamAchieve.com. Check out our running courses, the training plans, as well as the monthly coaching options that are there for you. Hope this video is helpful for you in terms of answering the question of how do you pace a sub 3:30 marathon. Negative split. Do not run fast in the first half. Conserve some energy for the later stages of the race. Then you will definitely be much better prepared to run that last half of the race faster than you ran the first half and get to the finish line in 3:29:59 or faster on the clock. So I hope this is helpful. Leave me a comment below. Like and share these videos. I really appreciate the support, and I will talk to you all in the next one.